Hi and welcome to my channel. Today we have another SQL interview problem. So let's see the problem. So the problem is create a dataset first order showing the last purchase for each customer based on order date. So we have to create one dataset which will contain all the last purchase of the customer's order. So let's see how this input dataset and this output is related. So if you can see, we have the order dataset, and in this order dataset we have customer ID, order date and order amount. And from this dataset our expectation is to create this output dataset. So let's see how they are getting generated. So if you can see, this C001 has two rows in this input dataset, and one row is for 1st January 2024 and the another row is for 10th January 2024. And out of these two rows, which is the last purchase, we can say, like, this is the last purchase, right? 10th January 2024. That is why this 10th January 2024 is in our output. Similarly, for this customer ID C002, we have two rows. Out of these two rows, 5th January 2024 and 15th January 2024. This 15th January is the last row, right? So again, this is in our output. Similarly, we have another row for C003, which is 5th January 2024. So we have three rows in the output. So let's see how we can do this. So initially, what we have to do is, let's try to sort this dataset by customer ID and order date first. So we can do this by proc sort data equal to customer ID and order date, run. So let's create input dataset. Okay, now let's sort this dataset. Okay, we also have to proc sort data equal to order and by customer ID, order date. Okay, so let's run this. So we have this sorted dataset. Now if you want to find out the last order for each customer, how we can do this is, we can directly use last dot customer ID. So if you can see, out of these two customer ID, this is the last order. Out of these two customer ID, this is the last order, and similarly for this is the last order. So we can solve this problem just directly by using last dot customer ID. And whenever we are getting the last dot customer ID, because this order date is already sorted from ascending to descending, so if we will do the last dot customer ID, we will be picking up the last order date, right, for each customer. So let's see how we can do this. So data, and we are creating any dataset. So as per our question, we are creating first dataset. So but the most more relevant is to name this as last order instead of first order. So let's name this as last order and set order, and this time we have to set this by customer ID and if last dot customer ID, then output. So also let's do a proc print. Let's run this. Okay, so you can see we have the 10th January, 15th January and 5th January. These are the last three orders for each customer. Okay, so this is last order for each customer. So this is how we can solve this problem. And there is one more way actually to do this problem. So instead of using the last dot customer ID, we can also use the first dot customer ID. So let's see how we can do this. So let's again run the input dataset. So we have the input dataset. So this time, instead of shorting this by using customer ID and order date, what we can do it is, we can short this order date by descending. So when we will do this order date by descending, so let me run this and show you. So this time when we are doing this by descending, so every first order will be our last order, right? So you can see this is the last order, 10th January, and this first order is the last order. I mean, first order for each customer is the last order, and similarly for this is the last order, right? So instead of using last dot customer ID, we can also do the same problem using first dot customer ID. So let me run this again and print this dataset. So you can see again we have the same output, but this time we are doing the same thing by using first dot instead of last dot, because we have this time sorted the dataset in descending order of the order date. So these are two ways by which we can solve this particular problem, and going forward I'll be solving more problems on my channel. So stay tuned and please do subscribe my channel. Thank you. Bye bye.